what has personally worked for me for body parts that I have grown over the years. So today I'm going to emphasize on my quad development and how I differed my training split philosophies and what exercises I use to do so. So when I was very young, just starting into bodybuilding, mind you, I was a football player and I only learned how to lift weights through football. So it was basically squats, deadlifts, bench, basically what you guys would call CrossFit training now. Back then was just athletic style training. So that's a lot of the stuff that we did. Cleans, power jerks, all that sort of thing. So that was the lifting I was introduced to when I was young. And then when I transferred over into a bodybuilding-esque style of training, when I left football, I got introduced to a wide variety of other exercises like leg press and leg extensions and all these things, dumbbell squats, sissy squats. There's so many different things that I got introduced to that just kind of opened my eyes. But still, I was lifting extremely heavy, thinking that that was the way to grow my legs. But I was sadly mistaken. Years and years and years and years and years in, I was still lagging in that area. My upper body, my arms, my shoulders, my chest, and my back were growing, but my legs were not. I got my first coach. We continued with that style. We even switched my training around. Instead of doing legs the first week, we did it at the end of the week. Still no change. We got pregnant with my first child when I was 28. And I walked away from bodybuilding, didn't lift weights for about 6 months, and then I started with my second coach, Slim Satir. He introduced me to volume training, or German volume training, and that's when I really noticed a lot of growth, first in my legs. So instead of going really, really heavy, I dropped the weight, increased the rep range, really didn't think about how many reps I was doing. I was just going on feel and just went to absolute failure. So the big thing for me was starting my workout with leg extensions. So get as much blood into there as possible. So when I went to the heavy compound lifts, there was no damage to my knees because I was a running back and in the later parts of my football career, and basically I got hit every play. So, and I was a track and field athlete before that, a hockey player before that. So my knees took some abuse through the years. So that was a big thing that helped my quads grow, is volume, and a ton of volume before I even started my leg workout. And then moving on to the two big leg lifts, would be leg press and squats. So what I did back then is I ventured away from barbells and I started using more machine squats like V squat, plate loaded squats, stuff like that, and really focused on how it felt on my quads. So more of like a front squat rather than a back barbell squat. I even did a lot of safety bar or yoke bar, some people call it. Squats was really the only bar that I used at all. But it was, again, lower weight for me at that time. I was doing probably around 315 with chains and just repping out, like doing sets of 20, 30, sometimes up to 50, depending on how strong I felt that day. But going to absolute, utter failure. And then for leg press, I would always do one-legged. So I would do right leg till failure, left leg till failure, and then put both my feet together and go to failure again. So those sets, I could be reaching 100 plus reps in a set. But the blood volume I was getting in my quads at that particular time was immense. And then I would finish off my quad day with some lunges, usually body weighted walking lunges as far as I could go. Superset it with sissy squats, usually with bands. And that's how it really kind of transformed how my quads looked. You could really see a change between when I won the Nova Scotians and Atlantics in 2007 to when I competed in my first pro show in 2013. My quads grew immensely, just in that different style of training. And then I was introduced to John Meadows 2015, right after I got fourth in Vancouver Pro. And he changed my style of training again, still with the high volume, but hitting legs twice a week. Reintroduced chains because I kind of ventured away from that, and reintroduced safety bar squats, but also brought in bands that up to that point I've never used. So I was doing moderate heavy weights with John, but I was putting band for extra tension, but saving my joints at the risk injury part, and just again going to absolute failure. So that again transformed my quads again, and they seem to grow immensely again. So that's how I personally transform my legs or my quads over the years. Again, everyone does a little bit different, but one thing I learned through my time is weight is not the one thing that's going to grow your muscle. It all comes down to technique and volume and intensity. So make sure that when you are trying to build a body part, you're going to absolute failure, you're getting full range of motion, and you're getting as much blood into that muscle as you possibly can get in. And that's my tips for that.